Hey, this is Chris with Hi-Lux Optics.
And this is Scott, also with Hi-Lux Optics.
If you're a collector of Old West firearms or a competitor in cowboy action or cowboy mounted shooting, you've heard of Taylor's and Company. Embodying the New West spirit and keeping the legend alive, we have Rob, Tammy, and Ashley Loy from Taylor's and Company. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here.
So for the people who haven't met you guys, can you give us a little introduction?
Well, I'll go ahead and start since I'm like I'm kind of the mouthpiece for Taylor's. So my name is Rob Gerard. I head up sales and marketing for Taylor's. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. I started out actually working on the archery side of this business and then worked my way into the gun side of the business. I've worked for companies like Loophole Rifle Scopes, Sig Sauer, Benelli USA, and now happy to be here with Taylor's. As you mentioned, if you know anything about Old West guns or cowboy mounted shooting or quick draw, you've obviously heard of Taylor's and Company. And obviously, I think, a great reputation in the industry for quality and customer service. It's one of the reasons that I'm here, and happy to be working with Tammy and Ashley, who, as I'm sure we're going to talk about, are third generation, owners and operators of this business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I guess with that, I'm Ashley Loy. I'm the operations manager for Taylor's, and I kind of do a little bit of everything in the business, kind of behind the scenes mostly. So that's really my main role, I think, at Taylor's. I've been in the industry all my life. Obviously, I grew up in the business, so I've kind of really done pretty much every position of the company growing up and having that fortunate experience. So
I think Ashley stating that she grew up in the business is an understatement. I've seen pictures of her stuffing accessory bags, I think at like age 5. So when she says she's been in the business all her life, she means it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And for me, I'm Tammy Loy. I am a CEO of Taylor's and Company, and actually have been working with the company for 33 years.
Wow, that's outstanding. So I just want to jump into it. Each of the firearms you make has a story. They're the rifles and the revolvers of the Wild West. But what we don't really know is the story of Taylor's and Company. I've tried looking online, couldn't really find much. But Taylor's is one of the most recognized names in vintage firearms. And like Rob mentioned, Taylor's is a woman-owned business going on 3 generations. How did Taylor's and Company get started?
Taylor's and Company was started by my partner, Sue McFarland, which is also my mother. She started the company September 1st of 1988. She was previously employed by Euroarms of America and held a management role there for 14 years prior to starting Taylor's and Company, which was strictly a black powder company. Mm-hmm. So in 1988, Taylor's and Company was started again as a black powder company, and it proceeded from there.
Wow, that's really interesting. Where did the name Taylor's come from?
Taylor's and Company was my grandfather's name.
Oh, wow.
Sue just wanted to use that as part of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It was a family name.
So when she left, you said it was Euroarms?
Euroarms of America.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that she was trying to do, like, uniquely that separated her from Euroarms?
Euroarms of America was a black powder company, and she wanted to bring out, we operate here in the epicenter of the Civil War, of course. So she wanted to bring out a musket for that particular market, and the Euroarms of America was not interested. So she worked with another factory in Italy that was interested in bringing that gun to market, and she decided to open this in September of '88.
Okay, so it all started from black powder. Has the company vision stayed the same since then? How has the company evolved?
Well, we've been the same, and we evolved, I believe, in 2000. I'm not for sure the actual year. I think 2004. We went in. We chose to go into cartridge firearms, and we actually started with one single action and one rifle, and from there the line has just grew upon that. So, but we were strictly a black powder company for many years, prior to entering into the cartridge market.
I guess if I can speak a little bit about the vision for tailors, Sue just had a lot of experience, obviously, for as many years as she ran Euroarms, and obviously Tammy came on board with her and started tailors. And I think that one of their first major visions for the company was to be number one in customer service and to really strive to bring a lot of great products to the market and to our customers who really are what matters to tailors. And as far as the vision of tailors, that's really stayed true. I mean, we really pride ourselves on customer service and, our knowledge and experience. And I think that always comes through in everything we do as a company still.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I could definitely see that. I was on the SASNet forums, and everything that I come across on tailors, they're like, tailors has great customer service, and everyone can really attest to that. So going to next, what is one of your proudest moments at Taylors and Company?
I think I would have to say the launch of the Smoke Wagon Revolver, which happened in 2007. I feel that we developed that product. We marketed that product underneath our brand, and it really was the beginning of our performance series.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What was it that made that particular launch different from, let's say, any of the other similar ones that followed after it?
that was the first product that we added the tailor tuning to, which we're very well known for. So we actually tune every single revolver. The revolver is, of course, imported. And then we tune all of the actions here at our facility. So everything, the springs are changed, everything is honed and tuned, to actually be a performance piece. And that was the first product that really contained the tailor tuning, and we branded underneath of our logo.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I think with Tammy's point, it was just really special to us because we put our tailor's touch on it per se. And that's really something unique to tailors that really nobody else can replicate. That was really brought out after, Tammy and I had been out shooting for quite a long time in the cowboy action shooting as well. So we, put all of our minds together here at Taylor's and developed our tuning work. Initially with that, we offer a lot of tuning services now on many of our products. And that's really kind of, I think, what stood out for us about that introduction for that. So
That's awesome. So what are the main advantages to getting Taylor's tuned firearm over the standard stock Italian firearm?
Sure. Well, I'll address this from a sales and marketing perspective, and I'm sure, Ashley and Tammy will probably chime in because it's, it was their idea really to take it to the next level. But, as a salesman and a marketing person, the Taylor's tuned action really, it's a competitive advantage for the company. There are other importers out there that import the same guns from the same manufacturers, but Taylor's really takes it to the next level and puts their touch on the gun, so to speak. Tammy mentioned there's it's commonly known as an action job that's performed on the gun. So it's not just polishing surfaces, but there's a trigger and bolt spring that's put in that's improved that you don't get with the stock gun, that our competitors don't change those things out. So really the easiest way to describe or for somebody to visualize or see the value of the tuned action is to hold a gun that hasn't been tuned up against a gun that has been tuned, and the tuned gun basically sells itself. So that action job is so superb that when people see it side by side, there's just no way they're gonna buy the stock gun. So it's just it's some creative thinking. It's something that it's out of the box. Hey, what can we do? We're not a manufacturer, so what can we do as an importer to set ourselves apart? And I think it's something that I'm super excited about, because it really gives us something that our competitors don't have. And in the end, the consumer's excited about it too, because they know they're getting the highest quality product that's available in the market.
Absolutely. And I know for competitive shooters, they're always looking for any little advantage they can get. So if the gun can shoot smoother and shoot faster, that's definitely an added benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, yeah, you bring up a good point. I mean, it's not just the window dressing of having the gun, be tuned in a smoother action. It actually, performs better.
Mhm.
And I guess to build on that, at a more technical standpoint, anybody that's tried or has worked on any of these replica firearms knows that, they're really not as cut and dry as, maybe replacing some springs in your Glock that you own today. So, gunsmithing them and gunsmithing them right is truly a craft. And, with that said, another advantage to this for the end consumer is that the gunsmiths that actually work and do really good work on these firearms is sadly to say drying up across the United States. So a great advantage for a customer or a competitive shooter, as you've mentioned, is that they're getting this right out of the box. They don't have to, try to really search across the United States or find somebody locally that'll work on these for them and do the level of, really in-depth action job that they're looking for, either to plink at home with or competitively shoot with. And I know it's really hard to find, and that way we take the risk out of it for the customer. They know the work's done right. We stand 100% behind our tuning, and we really pride ourselves on that. So that way when they take it out of the box, when they get it home, they can just go around outside and go to the range or wherever they're going, go to their competitive shoot, if you will, as well, and it'll function flawlessly. So
I think that's a good point. It's a good point, Ashley. Having been in the industry for a while, it's always nicer when you can have something upgraded from the manufacturer versus having to go out and find a gunsmith that you can trust and that can do the same quality of work. Nobody's going to know these guns better than our gunsmiths know these guns. So just makes it that much nicer to have that available from the factory or the importer, if you will.
yeah, absolutely.
That's so true. We actually tried going out and getting some work done on our 1885 high wall, and we called a bunch of gunsmiths around us, and most of them just they claimed gunsmith online, but in reality they're really just armorers. They're putting together AR-15s, working on Glocks. They didn't have the confidence to work on something like an 1885 high wall or a 1903 Springfield. But
I remember we had to get our replacement firing pin from you after we couldn't find the previous one through a series of unfortunate stuff. But putting that thing together, that's a beautiful little machine. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely unique. As long as, as well as our service department, we really support a lot of these replica products throughout the nation and internationally with our extensive parts inventory. And as you guys have experienced, they're hard to find in the United States. So that's also something we are really happy to help customers with, because we know that it's important to maintain your firearms. And obviously if some teeny spring breaks, you want a replacement so you can get it back up and running. So.
Great. Were there any moments where you had any apprehension or uncertainty for the future?
I think we've had some growing pains definitely along the way. Basically, I think in development of new products, launching different things to the market, diversifying the line a little bit, keeping our footprint, but of course diversifying enough to to extend into different markets. I think we should have a VP of sales years ago, to be quite honest. But I think there's some of the things you learn as you go along.
I think that actually makes me curious. Where do you draw the line? When you're thinking of adding a new firearm, what makes you say this is us and this is not?
I can touch on that if you'd like. The key things that we, look at, and, I'm happy to say most of us here at Taylor's, we are shooters. So we do, enjoy the products just like our customers do. We use them, we compete with them. Some of us have hunted with them as well. So what we look for in a firearm is, great durability, something that people are really going to enjoy, and something that, of course, sets us apart in the market as well, because every company is looking for that, but also something that, is hopefully already not available for consumers, to make it something really special for us to bring on to the Taylor's line. And, it's also awesome when we can come out with a new product that we can as well provide our Taylor services for, so we can include something really special like that for the customer as well. I think that's what I look for when we kind of, pull in new ideas and pick products, but probably Rob has something to share about that as well.
Well, without giving away any trade secrets or any future strategy, I'll just say this. I'll compliment the team that's here to be, I think, smart enough to, at least weigh options.
Mhm.
And when I say that, and just to add on to what Ashley's saying, I think there's a foundation here at Taylor's that no matter what we do, we'll always have the best customer service to support it, and it will always be of the highest quality available to the consumer. So, as you know, our tagline is, keeping the legend alive. There's a lot of ways that can be interpreted, and that can be not just interpreted to, again, without giving away too many secrets, it doesn't always have to be the West. So, this company has gotten, is where it is today because of the foundation that's been laid around service and around quality. But I will tell you, we're looking at a number of different options. Tammy and I have, some pretty in-depth strategic conversations about where do we see the company in 3 years? Where do we see it in 5 years? Where do we see it in 10 years? I will tell you that no door has been closed in terms of where we may take this. And that's, I think, one of the things that makes it really exciting. I can tell you this, it will never waver from what has gotten us to where we are right now.
That sounds really exciting. So Leatherwood Hi-Lux, like Taylor's and Company, has been a family business. Corbett's father, Jim Leatherwood, developed the art scope in the 60s. And then later on, he partnered with my father on manufacturing and engineering. There's a question I'd like to ask both Tammy and Ashley. What's it like working with a family member? Tammy, your mother is.
Should I leave the room?
We were thinking that one of you could plug the other one's ears. That way, you can share your secrets, not have to worry.
I can't wait to hear the answer to this one.
Well, I think as far as it's me working with my mother, I think honesty and trust has provided us 33 years of a good partnership. And I've cherished the opportunity to be able to work side by side with her. I think that the responsibilities for each of us were very clear from the start, and neither one of us really crossed those lanes throughout the way. We really never had that partnership that fell apart. We just keep on moving further. I think we both had the same vision. So I think that family is probably the hardest issue when you're working side by side every day, and I'm sure you know that. So, but other than that, it's been a great 33 years, and we look forward to the future. So.
And I guess my answer has to kind of be edited, right, Chris? Because my mother is here.
Scott's right here.
I'll take care of it.
So I generally want to say the same thing Tammy said. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same, Chris, from being in a family business. We're fortunate in the firearms industry that we are one of the industries that has, I think, most of the family, as far as the number of family businesses in our industry, which is really cool. That people share that with their families still. I say for anybody in a family business, it's hard. It's hard to run a successful family business. You have to be a really special family to deal with the things that Tammy mentioned, titles and that separation, and definitely separating the personal from the work. And that can be hard for some people. I don't know. I think we just clicked really well when we started this. And obviously, I grew up in it, so it's easy for me, I guess, because I've been walking that path my whole life. But I think that we've always done a good job of being really professional when it comes to business matters and in the office. And, our employees, I think, have some fun with it sometimes because they get to know all of our quirks, of course, because we're working with, our family members in them as well. But I think it's been good. It brings a certain pride to your work to be in a family business. And Chris, I'm sure you feel the same way about that as well. And, you know, I mean, we just have a really good work ethic, you know, being a family business. And I think that's really at the heart of it.
Definitely. I can attest to all that. Working with my father is very detail oriented. So he tends to hold everything to a very high standard, and he just likes to nitpick all the details. But I feel like it makes me sharper and it keeps me on my toes, and I'm always looking to improve myself.
And I can attest to being an outsider and learning all the family quirks.
That's awesome.
I'm sure Rob can as well.
You know what, here's, I know this question wasn't to me, but here's what I'll say. Having worked for Fortune 100 companies, having worked for, you know, privately held companies and family run businesses, Tammy mentioned something about staying in lanes. I think one of the things that has made Taylor successful, besides the, you know, strategic pillars that we support, these guys do a great job of managing the lanes that they're in very well. And there's, you know, 2 daughters that are involved in the business, Ashley and Carrie. You know, they're on the right seat on the bus. And Tammy does a great job of I think giving people like me coming in from the outside the autonomy to do their job, as well as managing the you know, just the overall challenges that you face when you manage a family business. So I worked for a lot of places, and this is not a paid endorsement.
Thank you, Rob.
Of the family-run businesses that I've worked in, these guys do a great job.
Thank you.
That's outstanding.
So then when you're growing up, I guess Ashley in particular, maybe Tammy too, did you like know from a young age, from shooting at 5 years old, that this is what you were going to do? Or did you come to love the company and get involved?
No, I did not.
I'll let Tammy go first, I guess, with your experience.
And you know, my mother actually wasn't in the industry when I was young. So no, I did not have a clue that I would be doing this. I had more so interest in accounting. So
I grew up shooting, of course. My family is obviously, my immediate family is obviously very into firearms. You know, shooting and hunting. I started that at a young age, thanks to my father, especially. And I don't know, I think it's just something ingrained in you as a child, if you grew up in a family that is into shooting sports and hunting. Also, though, we had a business in it, of course, when I was growing up from the moment I was born. So I have a different outlook on it, which I view as a very fortunate experience. I think that if you're a person that really enjoys firearms and obviously working in this industry, which I'm sure you feel the same, Chris, you know, you just really grow your passion even more for firearms, and also having a family business in that. So I think, I don't know. I mean, I went to college and, you know, got a pre-med school degree, and that's where I was going with life. But I kind of just, you know, started that period of my life, and I've really always enjoyed the firearms industry. And I'm very passionate about firearms in my personal life as well, of course. And I don't know, it just fit. You know, you kind of maybe walk away or take a break, you know, being at college and that kind of thing, and just felt right. And it felt like home. So I just decided to come back, and now here we are.
Yeah, definitely. I always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to help out my parents in some way, and I was always around the business. So it just felt natural to kind of come back and help my parents out. So lastly, I kind of want to wrap up with a question that Corbett really wanted to ask. He has 2 daughters in their 20s. What advice would you give to young female entrepreneurs?
Well,
I think what I always remember is be optimistic. I mean, there's going to be hurdles throughout the way, and just be optimistic. And it's just what you always have to remember.
I guess I kind of have a unique outlook on this, and I'm sure if Sue was joining us today, she would probably give the same advice, I would venture to say, because, you know, being my grandmother, she kind of has taught me in that manner, coming up in this business. You know, the firearms industry has been not very female friendly when I was at a very young age. as far as the business portion of it. And I'm very happy to see that's changed in the last 10 years, because I think it's really exciting for women to be involved in shooting sports and stuff that's coming on board now. I would just say that the strongest place you can be in any position of any company, even if it's not your own, is to know your stuff the best. That's how I have personally succeeded in tailors. I learn something every day. That's totally true. And I've grown up in this industry and this business, and I've just always tried to, keep on learning and keep on honing my craft skills and abilities in the company and my job. But stuff is changing so fast now. So I would say flexibility is a really big thing. And, if you can adapt, to all those changes, I think you'll go far. And obviously, if you know your stuff and somebody's doubting you, even to the fact if you're a woman in any industry, they grow to respect you. And I think that's, one of the biggest lessons I've learned, even at a younger age. So.
It's outstanding advice.
I guess then to finish up, because you did mention handling your firearms and knowing them the best, what is it that you guys prefer to shoot?
I'll look at Tammy go first on that.
I actually prefer the 1873 Winchester. I just enjoy the action of that particular rifle, and especially using our Comanchero package, which is another tailor-tuned product, and it's just very enjoyable to shoot. Projections from the top, it's just fun.
Mhm.
It's fun.
Mhm. I have a lot of favorites, of course. I guess it depends on what we're shooting that day. I would go with the 1873 Comanchero as well. I have quite a few, of course, with the cowboy shooting that we've all done. And really, they're just one of those guns that I can personally take out on the range, even though I've fired thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds through it. And it's still one of my favorites. And, I've given it to people that haven't even ever shot a lever action before. And just to see that grin on their face from ear to ear is amazing. The single actions, I definitely think the Smoke Wagon is one of my personal favorites. I have kind of never really wavered from that in my cowboy action shooting. It's my kind of favorite go-to. Obviously tuned as well. Any of our tuned guns, they really run like butter if you start shooting with them competitively, especially. And then, I would say probably also our Sharps model. It's kind of really a traditional piece and really cool. And I don't know, it's just one of those guns you can bring out and feel like you're kind of quickly down under on the range, right?
Oh yeah, for those 4570s are so much fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Well, to wrap up this interview, I guess, do you guys have a favorite Western movie?
Ooh.
Tombstone, I think, for me.
Mhm.
Tombstone. The director's cut.
I've always been a Clint Eastwood guy, so one of the Clint Eastwood movies.
I'm a Clint Eastwood fan. I would say one of my favorites is The Outlaw Josie Wales, but I have a lot of Clint Eastwood favorites.
High Plains Drifter, Hang 'em High.
Right?
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Ashley, for coming on today. We really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys, and hopefully we can get the message about tailors out to more people.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Great to see you guys.
Great.